things throughout your house should be able to migrate from one room to the next and get along because you chose them. There's nothing more cute than two twin beds. Like a stack of twin. Like when we go to market, whenever we go through like Julian Chichester or any event, they just have two stacked beds. You're just like, I'm gonna have another kid. This is so good. Like
So
I love it
cute.
so much.
Since we're talking about your kids' room, I want to know about your guys' childhood rooms.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dear Alice. Today, we have a very personal episode. We are having Sue Hall take the helm. She recently did a remodel in a very cute, intimate space in her home. And we are going to have her take us on the journey of her boys' room. She was finally ready to graduate her two youngest out of cribs and into their big boy beds. And she switched rooms with your older boy and made a really darling twin boy bedroom in there. And we're so excited to share this episode with you and the journey that she took. It's so personal. She's going to share how she chose paint colors, how she chose the silhouettes and the pieces and the room arrangement. And it was all so thoughtful. And there's so many great takeaways. And I know a lot of you are working on projects and love design, so you're going to love this episode. So if you can, tune in, watch on Spotify, or check it out on YouTube because it's full of all the juicy visuals, including sketches by Sue and a really great journey. Also, her 80-year-old mother, Provo Grandma, made the draperies in this room. They're custom Roman shades, and we even have video of that. So you're definitely going to want to tune in. But first, I wanted to tell you guys, it's September 18th, and that means we are smack dab in the middle of our very best sale of the whole year. And this is the best time to buy. So start your engines. It's happening. And I just wanted to make sure all of you guys knew about it that was tuning in. I know our podcast is called Dear Alice, but our store is called Alice Lane Home. So check us out on Instagram at Alice Lane Home and check us out online because everything there, every single vendor participates. So whatever it is that you need for your home, if it's chandeliers, lamps, if it's a new rug, new bed, bedding, sheets, anything, any accessory, any accent, we put the entire site-wide sale on. And then the things that we're manufacturing as well are as low as 25% off. So go get yourself something really nice. It's a really great time to buy. And then I also wanted to say to those of you that are professional designers, there's a great trade program for you in store with exclusive discounts, extra help, and access to hundreds of our vendors. And you can just get online, tell them where it's at, Corey.
So go to our website, alicelanehome.com, and then go to the Design Services tab, and then fill out the To the Trade form, and one of our designers will go back to you.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay, let's get into it.
All right. So since we're talking about your kids' room, I want to know about your guys' childhood rooms. Like, you know, when you started to kind of like, I don't know, add things to it to kind of express your individuality.
I'll tell you what, I remember going with my mom. I had to be elementary school. I don't even think I was middle school aged yet. And wallpaper was huge. So I was born in 1975. So I'll bet you the year was like mid 80s.
Okay. 87, let's say. Yeah.
Let's just call it 1987.
Okay.
We went up to Wallpaper Warehouse in the University Mall, I think, Mom, or maybe it was a strip mall in Provo, Utah. We drove all the way up north, 2 hours in our car. And we would look through the wallpaper books. And back then, the wallpaper books were set up in large pages. And then they would have like a middle border running through it. So what we did in my childhood bedroom when I got to help choose was we did a lower wallpaper on the bottom and usually chose something dark, like maybe it was a dark ground of like navy blue with a stripe. And then you would do like a floral on top, and then the border in the middle would look like some type of molding.
Yeah.
It was just wallpaper. It was flat.
Wallpaper molding. Yep.
Yeah, wallpaper molding. You could even do a wallpaper crown molding.
Oh.
I don't think we did the crown, but I know we did the lower.
That was for the teenagers.
And the upper. The crowns for the teens. That's right. And then we did the middle belt line going around the room. And I feel like it was a navy blue ground on the bottom one. And I think it was a white ground on top with floral. And then I can't remember what the stripe was in the middle, but I'm sure it was classy.
Yeah,
So
super
like,
cool. Very 87. Yeah.
Yeah.
Navy
Totally.
Navy has been in your blood for a long time.
I know.
Everyone, Jessica Bennett's one of her favorite colors, navy. It's part of
Yeah.
our brand color.
Yeah. It's not super original, I know, but I just love it. I can't help
It's
it.
you.
It's you.
I'm just drawn to it. I'm also embarrassed to say I'm currently driving a Navy car.
No.
Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm like completely OD'd on it, but it started young, and it was just so. It's like such a core memory for me when I think about designing my bedroom with my mom and her trusting me to help make these decisions and like guiding those decisions with me. And she even wallpapered it, guys. Back in the days,
I love that.
you would get a wallpaper trough. Yeah, you'd get the tools and supplies there, and then you would have the trough sitting in your bathtub, and then you would reverse roll the papers. You can feel it, right?
Yeah,
and then
I
you
remember
would
that.
soak them in there for a little bit and let them get good and sticky, and then you'd pull them out, and then you would book match them on top of each other while it sort of cured and got extra gooey. And then you would put it on the wall, and then you'd use the tools to sort of scrape and trim. And I feel like my mom and dad, somebody was on a ladder and they were helping each other, and there's usually a little bit of bickering involved because it was like doing surgery, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot involved in it. But even that, I was a part of that.
That's awesome.
In like
That
making my sister and I lived in this bedroom together. Call, were you with us? Like, I feel like I couldn't have just done this alone with mom. I feel like we all went together, but it was just so fun to get to, and I was so proud of it when it was done.
Oh yeah, I bet you were just like favorite space in the house. Yeah.
And then like you'd have to go show your rooms, like the reveal. You'd have the room closed, like wait till you see, and you open the door and the smell of wallpaper paste wafts out.
Yes.
And you're like,
all the off gassing is just like hitting you at the door.
Wow, it smells brand new in here.
That's so fun though.
How about you, Sue? Do you remember anything about your childhood bedroom? Did you get to choose it?
In California, I shared a room with my sister, and she's 8 years older than me. So I just had Barbies everywhere. She was very organized. Katie the cleaning lady. And I just had so many Barbies. I loved Barbies. I had all the accoutrements for every Barbie thing.
I love it.
So I was just messy.
We're the same person. And I'm Messy Jessie. Yeah.
I need an acronym. I need a nickname. Okay. But then I think the first time was when we moved up to Provo, like in my junior high or in Utah, right? Moved from California to Provo. But I remember before, or like one of our trips back to California, we had already lived in Utah. I had my own room. My sister's in college. Like I'm like an only child right now. And we go back to California. We go to the promenade in Santa Monica. And I remember going to an Urban Outfitter. Like it was the only Urban Outfitter that I ever like had heard of. It was probably one of the first ones. And I remember getting a beaded curtain, like a colored beaded curtain. And my mom let me do it. And I remember there was like this Rastafari bishop like on the street of the promenade having like incense. And my brother had incense. And I'm like, that's cool. I should burn incense too. So I remember getting like incense, and I just became like this like little hippie child.
I love it.
And like I just like loved all the colors, which again has never left, you know. So I like my mom like letting me just like kind of just like have my walkabout on the promenade and get incense from the Rastafari bishop and get the beaded curtains and get all the glow in the dark stars. You guys, I remember.
I love that.
I remember getting just hundreds of glow in the dark stars and piercing the top of them with a hole. Taking my dad's fishing wire, tying a knot to that, tying the other end to a nail, nailing them to my ceiling, the popcorn ceiling.
Yeah, you did.
So they all were just like hanging, just like
so
everywhere.
Romantic.
Yeah.
I know. And then I like slept on a hammock.
Interior design.
Interior design, y'all. Like
I love it.
I know. And I just burned incense. Like
I love that
like
so much.
like I had a riff with the world or something. I'm like, what did little Suzanne have to get out?
You had to ground yourself. Yeah,
it's true.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Was that mid-90s probably?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was probably like 90, 95, 94, 95, I bet. Yeah.
That's when I remember experiencing incense for the first time as well.
Experienced the LA riots, like in California. We saw the fires.
That's why she needed all of this.
Yes, there was so much going on in the world. Yeah, she's very
angsty.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's amazing. Okay. That's hilarious. Let's get into this kid's room now, though.
Okay. So we're going to talk, like Jess said, we're going to talk about this like transformation. So I have 3 kids. Now they're 10, 5, and 3. And my 10-year-old Nolan, he has a queen bed. And he had the blue room. And when my 2 little ones were in, oh yes, here they are. There they are. Aren't they cute? So it's Nolan and Manolo and Louie. And Nolan has his own big boy room. Here it is. And when we moved into this house, we painted it this really pretty blue because he loved Catboy. So it's kind of fun when you are doing your kids' rooms to try and like figure out what is it that makes them pulse. You know, what's the tick that like will get you their buy-in, so that like everybody wins.
Tie it to something that they love.
It to something that you love. He loved Catboy, and I was just like, we're gonna paint your room blue. It's gonna be awesome. I get to pick it.
Yeah.
But it's blue like Catboy.
Mom's choice.
Mom's choice. My filter. But then you kind of get their buy-in. And so it was his room for, you know, the last like 5 years since we moved into this home. We painted it this blue, and it was awesome. It was great. And then I had not one kid, but 2 children during the pandemic. Huzzah. And they were in this cute little nursery next door, which I painted green. And so after I had these 2 little boys that were really close in age to each other, they just started to outgrow the crib, y'all. And it was time that we finally had to like figure. I had to start doing some space planning and figuring out, okay, like if Nolan doesn't want to give up his queen bed, but I can't, like, so I moved that one to the green room, and I'm like, I need to move both of the little boys to like big boy beds from the crib and the pack and play. And so Jess and I started like kind of going back and forth. I'm like, I think I need twin beds. I think I need 2 little twin beds. And you guys, there's nothing more cute than 2 twin beds. Like a stack of twin. When we go to market, whenever we go through like Julian Chichester or any of them, they just have 2 stacked beds. You're just like, I'm gonna have another kid. This is so good. Like
So
I love it
cute.
so much.
Yeah.
There's nothing more
You can't
charming.
just have one lonely twin bed in a room. You
No.
got to get a second one.
I know. I feel so like
That's why they're called twins.
Peter Pan, Mary
Yeah.
Poppins about it. Like you just
Yeah.
like want to see like all the row of all the children at once.
Oh,
Anyway,
so cute.
there's something so cute about that. But yeah, so it came time that I'm just like, okay, we have to switch the boys. Like they were just like outgrowing the crib and everything. And so I started putting it on CAD, and one of the biggest problems and like things that you're trying to solve for when you don't have a huge space is just like really looking at like what are the functions that you need to have. I need them both to be able to grow into this like bigger bed. I need storage. Like these kids have a lot of like books, shoes, you know, just
it's 2 of them too.
2 of them.
2 of their stuff.
2 of them, and they're busy.
And also since you moved into a 1971 home during the pandemic, the closets were just smaller back then.
Yeah.
I think they really relied on the fact that people had bedroom dressers. And so they weren't walk-in closets like are in homes today. So you not only have one small closet that 2 boys need to share, right? You've got all of their stuff. So yeah, things were just different today than then. So you had to try and figure out storage for this space for all of their stuff.
Yeah, because I wanted them to have like enough storage for like all their clothes in general. There's so many, and then just like again, we have toys down in the basement. Like we have a playroom, but like just the things like the books and like things that like you want to grab to be able to read to them at night, and you don't want to schlep downstairs to grab that. So just trying to accommodate for all those things. There's certain functions that like I needed to have happen. And you also want a space for them to just like play. Even though this isn't their primary playroom, you just want spaces for them. They're going to like roll off the bed. They're going to like tumble, and they're going to wrestle and do all those things. And so it was really just trying to figure this out on plan view. How am I going to get all this without shoving everything to the very corners of the room, which kind of did, but I pulled it out a little bit. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is, again, when we start with anything, we usually go to like the floor plan and try and figure out what are my functions. And so here I'm showing 2 twin beds that are pulled a little bit off the wall just so it's easier to make. I don't want it totally against the wall just because that's a nightmare. But again, just to allow like optimize the amount. I remember when I showed you, you're just like, maybe we could pull those in. Let's do a smaller nightstand, pull those in a little bit because I think that's what we would normally do. But just like understanding, just like that they needed space.
Floor space to sit and play with their toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Build Legos or whatnot. So
exactly.
Yeah, so we actually opted for the largest, widest nightstand that we make. And you use the Miles nightstand in between the 2 twin beds, which brought in that really deep, dark, almost coffee colored wood that looked really handsome, like a pair of dress shoes, I think, for a boy.
I know.
Which was really fun.
Yeah. So, and then I wanted to have a rug.
Yeah.
And specifically, I've been crushing on the Sussex rug for so long since we introduced it. And I'm like, that's such a handsome rug for like little men, you know, to like grow up into. And so I was just like, Jess, I think I need to use a Sussex rug. So I had all these like kind of like ideas and thoughts of just like product that we make that I've fallen in love with. And so I'm like, if I do the Sussex rug and just kind of like stretch it from side to side, like and do like the biggest size I can get, which I believe was the 8x10 in this space. And I do two little twins with the miles in between them, I would have all this space in between to put like a little poof, like a little nightstand or not a nightstand, but like a little ottoman for us to like just play with. And we usually have, like, I have lots of little accent chairs and stuff, but anyway, just in figuring it all out, this is kind of what we came up with. So we have the two twins, we have the big nightstand with just like one shared lamp in between, and then a bookcase. Intermitsy,
yes,
guys.
The brand new etagere. It's a bookshelf. I think we've told you guys before. Etagere is just a fancy name. It means it's an open shelf on all four sides, which allows you to display things. And I think for Sue, your boys have these cute collections of Legos that they've built and books and collections that they've had. And even the bottom two shelves, I think you ended up putting shoes on, which is so cute. So the stuff at eye level is like the things that they're really proud of. And then the stuff on the bottom is this utilitarian stuff that they can take on and off every single day.
They're also cute.
And their clothes are cute.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, kids' clothes and shoes are darling.
So cute. So why shouldn't they get that fancy closet moment of having shoes on a shelf, you know?
Exactly.
And not just on the ground of their closet.
It's
so cute the way that you ended up displaying this.
And I will say, I'm like, however tall I'm like, because I'm only 8 foot ceilings. And so that Mitzi gives so much. It's kind of like when you like take your window treatment all the way to the top of the ceiling, right? And just how it elongates. You've walked in there.
Yeah.
Like that Mitzi totally makes my ceilings
The Mitzi made it feel tall.
So tall.
And your Roman shades, you went all the way to the ceiling, make it also feel tall. You would not guess it's 8 foot ceilings. I also wanted to say, just for those of you listening, the room size that Sue's in, let's just call it a 12 by 12.
Yeah.
It's like 12 by 11 and a half, but that's a very, very small bedroom. And it's a normal size for homes that were built in the 70s and 80s. So this is a cozy space, but doing a few space expanding tricks, like having a huge rug in there, right? Made the room feel really big, and that really little pattern felt space expanding. I also feel like you did a really cool thing on the window treatments with another small pattern that gave that sort of illusion of something bigger, the tall shelf, the tall window treatments, and you did a tall lamp in front of the window, which really stretched your eye too.
I know.
Cozy Earth's pajamas and blankets are so soft and breathable and good looking. I actually started planning my evenings around them. Right when I get home from work, I'm jumping in my bamboo stretch knit pajamas and I'm running for that bubble cuddle blanket. Now, we've seen faux fur blankets before, folks. This is different. This is faux fur on the front and back. And the way that they've married or matched the bubbles, you're getting this dimensional blanket, both front and back. So it's not like just the top of your body is having fun. The outer part, it's like the inside is experiencing it too. I don't know how they do it. It was this distinctly textured bubble design that's intricately woven from ultra soft fibers. And it is so beautiful. I want it on my bed, but I also want it in my living room. It's divine. You guys are going to die over it. I cannot recommend it enough. And indeed, my mom is getting one of these for Christmas.
Just so you know, Cozy Earth stands by their quality. Their blankets come with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. That's crazy. And their apparel, it's backed by a lifetime guarantee. So go to CozyEarth.com and use code DearAlice at checkout for up to 40% off your new favorite pajama set and blanket. That's CozyEarth.com, code DearAlice. And if you get a post-purchase survey, let them know you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Elevate your downtime with Cozy Earth.
The pieces that you're seeing on the screen right now, we have our rug. We have, again, I think one thing too that helped with this room being a small rectangle is I was crushing so hard on our bed, our Marlowe, right?
Marlowe bed,
bed. And we had it in the queen. And you guys know I love green. I love green. And therefore my children will love green too. But just really fast to just try and like migrate. Like they came from like this cute little green nursery, which had this like painting of this jaguar on the wall. And I knew I wanted to bring that with them. I think there's something too about when you're switching kids' rooms, if you can keep some of the things the same, even though the space is going to be different, they're going to have a tough time at the beginning just because it's new. But if you can keep some things the same so that they have something familiar around them, I think that's really, really important.
That's a great point.
And so right here on the screen, over the crib is this like original jaguar with this really cool gold frame. So I knew I wanted to keep that with them. And I knew I wanted to keep this lamp. Again, it's whimsical. It's animals. I've had this for a really, really long time. And I'm like, if I can keep a couple of these key pieces with them, they'll feel like they're home. So
love that.
That's a great tip. And I started before anything because I'm like, am I gonna have to repaint the room? It was Catboy for Nolan. Am I gonna have to like paint it green, and swap these guys? And I took that painting and I just put it on the blue wall, and I was just like, that's magic. And you want to know why it's magic? It's just like greens, blues. They're all the colors I see when I look out my window. Fun little thing about this room too, and where Nolan's at, like this, when we bought the house, we have a barn in the back, and he has the cutest straight shot of the barn. So we'll get to that later. But anyway, all to say is that I didn't have to repaint the room a different color because everything got along. And when I put that paint there, I was just like, okay, if this green looks good on this blue wall, the Marlowe's going to look awesome on this blue wall. And the thing I was also really excited about the Marlowe is that the headboard isn't crazy tall, again, but it was like a perfect height. And I like that it wasn't a rectangle. I like that it kind of smiles and dips in the bottom, just because you're in a small rectangular room. So we know anytime that you can add just like softness like that, it just helps to just like kind of blur the lines and not make it feel like a limited, like small box, right? I knew that I would have to peekaboo into that window just to give myself that open play area. And I'm just so happy with how it turned out. A couple other things that we did, Jess mentioned on that Roman. I've crushed on this Schumacher fabric for the longest time. It's so, so cute. Here's a little video showing just kind of like in the development when I was like, I had so many fabrics that I was playing with. I'm like, what should I do? Should I add more? Should I do solid? Should I do, something more botanical or something? But I'm just like, there's something just so handsome when you have like these structured prints and you layer them with each other in stripes and boxes. And it feels kind of like a Minecraft, which they're also into, and Legos and all the things. And so I'm like, okay, this is going to be I showed my mom is an amazing seamstress. She sewed my wedding dress. Like she's incredible. And she's 80, you guys, pro grandma.
And there she is on the floor,
just on the floor.
Sewing Romans.
You guys, and this fabric, my friend told me, she's like, oh my gosh, it looks like this like famous Ozark quilt, but it's a geometric. And like, talk to any wallpaper hanger that has to like hang a stripe, like they want to shoot you. And sweet Provo grandma, she took this like geometric pattern and centered all those blocks like on the window. She's incredible. So, but
bless her.
But what I have to say is that when it was Nolan's room and it was just, just the blue, I didn't have Romans. I didn't have window treatments up because it was just one of those things that I think as parents, it kind of just goes to the back of the mind. And you're just like, okay, that's expensive. They're boys. They'll just rip it down. Yeah. Anyway, but I knew that I'm like, oh, we're going to do this. I'm like, let's do it. And I really wanted to kind of tie that blue back in a textile. And so you guys, it is so crazy, the power of a window treatment. Yeah. And just like pulling that sucker up to the ceiling, look how much taller that room looks with the Roman going all the way to the ceiling. Yeah. Versus it feeling squatty. Because they didn't, in the 70s, they didn't do big one. Like they're fine for the size of the room, but like they're not going to like they would nowadays. So my mom, the saint that she is, she agreed to make these Romans for me. And you guys, Ryan, she used like books from like the 1950s. You guys, I love her so much. Look how cute she is. Here she is on her bed, just like sewing these darling Romans for my kids. Oh, I just love them. I don't think I'll ever be able to take them off. Am I going to cry? She's so cute. Oh,
she is so cute.
And she used these. Anyway, I just have to, she's like, do you want to borrow my books when you guys talk about it? I'm like, yes, I do, Mom. Anyway, she used like books from the 1950s to like sew these. Again, still works.
Yeah.
All that. Anyway,
she's got her bookmarks.
The original Google.
Like little bookmarkers and everything like that. So I love these window treatments because I think of her. And they saw her like install it. So it's so cute.
So cute.
Anyway, so I love that Schumacher fabric. I love that they go to the ceiling and just like soften everything in that room. I think that's what it also did, is it just softened the edge on everything.
And those of you that are curious, if you're watching this, these are Sue's paint colors. Your wall color, Sue, do you want to tell them what that
it's called Irises. And this is a Sherwin-Williams colors. And so I did, and again, this is color drenching. We painted this probably like 5 years ago. And at the time I did, how we've talked about how you can take, the same color, you can lighten it a little bit, like just go the one rung up on that paint strip. I did do that in here just to kind of play with it and see how it worked. And so we did the walls in Irises, we did the ceiling in Yukon Sky, and then I did my trim and door in a semi-gloss in the amethyst shadow. I tell you what, that ceiling, you can't really, like, you can go back to the picture, you can't really tell that I changed the color. So it's kind of a waste of a paint change.
Yeah.
So just know that when you hit that ceiling, like,
Isn't that crazy that that's a difference?
You have to
it is.
You have to like lighten it up a lot. There you can not really. You really can't.
I think the shadows too. It's just hard to tell, but I just thought they might love to know the color because it really is so soothing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it feels like you just took a melatonin. It's just so calming for the boys and so pretty. I think one of the things that was really cute that Sue's mentioned when we went over there to shoot the room was she was like, it's just like the mountains. It's like this purpley blue with green trees. And of course they're all going to get along together.
Yep.
I just love this pairing. And the blue almost has a dot of periwinkle to it or purple.
Which I notice, I don't know, people's eyes pick up on. I love that you pick that up because I'm like, every time, even like when we're in the design center pulling things, I always like gravitate. My eyeballs love a little bit of that violet.
Me too.
In the blue.
Yeah, it's just a little obscure. It's not so on the nose. Feels a little more special. Yeah. And it's funny that you made this decision 5 years ago and then you make the drapery decision today.
Yeah.
And it's just like so perfect. This room, just like the way it came together with all your loves, of course you're going to love it. It's all the things that you love.
That cute little whale that we bought at an art show like a decade ago. This is also another really fun note that like they're your kids. They're going to probably at some point, they're probably going to have Spider-Man sheets or something. But things throughout your house should be able to migrate from one room to the next and get along because you chose them, you know, like whether it was just you solely or with like your partner or your kids, all those decisions I think should live harmoniously together. And it's not like a perfect like formula. Like these are decisions that have just evolved over time that all come together really harmoniously. And it feels right because it feels like us.
Yep.
And that is timeless design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like art that's on the left right there? That was that in Nolan's, like when he was in there? Like,
and that's a piece that I bought for Tom, like on his 30th birthday, because he loves that story of the donkeys and olive press and stuff. But then it sat above like the changing table when Nolan was a baby in the attic. And then it migrated to this room. And then like I kept it in here just because I loved it with the paint color. And then just like the collections of little paintings, you find like little walls and things are kind of opened up as you rearrange furniture. You can do interesting stacks like this just to kind of balance out the art in your room. So good. And guys, let's talk about the Mitzi real quick. You can see it here.
The Mitzi Etagere was a new piece that we launched during House Candy. It is a wood shelf with these radius top, and then toward the bottom you get these radius shapes again, which sort of soften it. And I have to say the white shelf up against a wall color, this was like such a beautiful move. It's clean. It's really slim. I think it's only 14 inches deep. But it holds all the treasures. It doesn't take up much room of the floor print, but it really stretched the ceiling and brought the soft shapes of the Marlowe bed.
It feels vintage too. Those radius corners, like really, I feel like anytime that we've had a flood or emergency remodel or anything like that, like it's been important to me to be like, hey, this house is from the 1970s. I'm not tearing it down. We're trying to embrace what it is. And anytime you can add those like little nods back to just the architecture and just the history of the house, is I think just so it's one of those just like unidentifiable things that make it feel right.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not yelling like this home was built in the 1970s, but hopefully these like little winks kind of like go back to that era, you know, in a fresh way, in our way. And I love how much space there is on that shelf. It's amazing.
So
like
all their collections just look so intentional and cute and pulled together, and even their shoes are adorable on this thing.
Cute.
Yeah.
They're so cute. And that little toadstool, guys, that little mushroom ottoman in the tiger. Oh, gosh, in the Annie jar.
What a transformation.
Lucky ducks.
Like, it's crazy that this is obviously the same room that you once had the queen bed in. And it felt cozy and very individual, you know, both ways. But I have to say, like, gosh, window treatments for the win in here.
Yeah.
And I just really love, oh, go ahead.
I was saying color blocking, like the neutral bed. I mean, it's cute.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But when like you put the green against the blue.
Yeah.
That is such an outfit.
Such an outfit.
Such an outfit.
Oh, Sue, bravo. This turned out so cute.
Thank you. I love it.
They love it. I just love it. So a few things to just tell the listeners to when they're planning to do kids' rooms, space planning with function in mind.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And you needed to be able to not just make it comfortable and familiar by taking things from the old space into their new space, but also you wanted to have space to play so that they could really embrace this. I also thought a funny but really key note here was that you didn't just push the twin beds against the wall. You held them off like maybe 4 to 6 inches to help you easily make the bed or for your kids to be able to make their own beds, right? Which was really yeah. And,
you're making the bed.
And I have to say, I think Miles' nightstand in between, where it's a wider girth that allowed you to push those further apart in this 12-foot room. Also that little ledge to be able to display their things at their eye level. I think it's so cute. They each have their own like shelf if they want to. This great big huge pole I think feels like a toy in this space, and those drawers can be almost like a second set of drawers, like a dresser.
They definitely are. That's what they act as. I was gonna say the nice thing about the Miles too is that it's not sitting on the ground. It has like a lift up. We have a floor vent right there too, so that was also an important thing that I couldn't block. And I'm like, what nightstand do we have that like can like make sure the air can circulate and everything? I'm not trapping it. And the Miles like one, and I love it so much. I'm like, if it did any more, I like just being when you're there live and you feel that the air can just kind of like peek under there. It doesn't feel as like, I don't know, like is crowded,
stale.
No, just crowded. You know, I think if things are just like sitting on the ground, it's just like that's the only space you have. But if you can peekaboo that there's light going through all the way to a wall, it expands your eye and it makes it feel larger.
Yeah.
So, and that same thing with the etagere and same thing with the beds, like nothing sitting completely to the ground so the air can kind of still circulate. So.
Your eye can see under and through it. Yeah, I love that. The silhouettes in front of the windows, adding fun shapes, fun patterns for kids, both on the rug and in the Roman, your space expanding tricks of pulling the Romans all the way to the ceiling, the Mitzi all the way to the ceiling, having room to display their favorite things, their familiar things. Blackouts on the Roman to help them sleep better, and a place for everything and everything in its place.
Yeah, and I think Whimsy. I'm looking at that lamp too. You know, just as far as there's nothing you don't have to be so serious. It's a kid's room.
Yeah.
That makes it feel. Yeah, that makes it feel like a kid's room too.
Yeah.
It's like it's not taking itself too seriously, but
Yeah, and
you
I
did a
bought
great job.
myself that lamp before I even had kids, you know. I remember at the Orange store. But anyway, again, these things, like, it's fun to see how they, I don't know, regenerate themselves in different locations and then what it does for the room. Because I'm like, it looks different in here than it did in the last room.
Buy cool stuff.
Buy cool stuff, y'all.
Yeah. I love it.
Point
so
being.
good. Well, thanks so much, Sue, for sharing this with everybody. I know it's been a really personal journey from working with your mom on the draperies and considering your boys and changing your whole house around. I think it was totally worth it. And we're just so happy you shared this all with all of us today. So yeah.
I'm glad you wanted to hear it.
Of course. Of course.
You know, and I love going in and making their beds. I don't know. Someday they will, and hopefully they're watching mom and being like, oh, wow, that really does make me feel better through my days that my bed's made.
Yeah.
But hopefully they see like there's a pride in space, you know, and like identifying with this space. I hope that that's something they hold on to.
They will. Yeah, definitely.
So good. You guys, thanks so much for listening. And don't forget, it's the very best sale. Go get yourself something nice. It's the best time of the year to buy. So it's at alicelanehome.com, and give us a follow on at Alice Lane Home on Instagram and at Alice Lane Interiors also on Instagram. And give us a comment, write a review. Every little bit helps. And if you guys have an episode idea you would like us to cover, send those to Dear Alice at alicelanehome.com, and we'll catch you next time. Hey, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating.